Hey, this is Jamie from Capsule Computers, and today we are reviewing Vampyr. This title from Don't Nod and Focus Home Interactive is available now for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows. At the time of the recording of this video, the game cost $49.99 in US dollars. In Australia, the PC version costs $69.95 and the console versions are $89.95. Vampyr is set in London in 1918. It's the tail end of World War I, and the Spanish flu epidemic is tearing across the city once again. Fresh from the trenches, Dr. Jonathan Reid is a newly created vampire on a quest for knowledge about his new undead condition and the epidemic that plagues the city. Along the way, Dr. Reid will meet the citizens of London and learn their stories as he copes with his thirst for blood. Players will get the opportunity to decide who lives and who dies, but every death will come at a cost for the community. While some may describe Vampyr as an action RPG, I think the game is better described as an adventure game and part action RPG. Vampyr's mix of gameplay mechanics is similar to how LA Noire mixed adventure-style investigation segments with an open-world shooter. As such, Vampyr's writing is thrust front and center for the gamer to experience. Every friendly NPC in the game's 4 districts have personalities, backstories, and secrets that Dr. Reid will tease out as he speaks with them. Players are incentivized to learn about characters even if the player plans on murdering them all for experience points, as revealing NPC secrets will yield more experience points in the end. The writing in Vampyr is excellent. The world is meticulously crafted. The writers create a complex view of London, capturing things like the despair of a war-weary nation racked by the Spanish flu, the challenges of being a refugee in 1918, and the excitement of scientists in a world on the cusp of some great advancements. The multifaceted version of London serves as an excellent way to ground the supernatural elements of the story, as the writers fill the city with secret societies and mythical beasts. Vampyr's cast of characters is one of the game's strengths. The characters run the gamut, giving thirsty players options if they feel like becoming the fangs of justice. At the same time, I find players trying to kill or spare every NPC they meet will feel emotionally challenged, as there are characters that are easy to love and hate. Characters have deep ties with each other. Digging up their secrets will often require speaking to their neighbors or finding the odd letter scattered around the neighborhood. These relationships breathe life into Vampyr's take on 1918 London. The game's plot is intriguing, though it can fall to the wayside at times with the total information overload that comes with so many characters in a game. The writers have taken classic vampire lore and given it their own twist, mixing in new vampiric lore ideas with actual history. Dr. Reid can sound like a bit of a broken record at times with his repeated introductions as a doctor and a World War I veteran, but some depth comes out slowly and surely as the story progresses. Vampyr's combat is a slower-paced affair, more along the lines of Dark Souls than the Batman Arkham series. Dr. Reid is able to use close-ranged weapons, firearms, and a variety of vampiric abilities. Attacks and dodging is always limited by stamina and blood pool. Players are given a large number of options to build their characters, from blood-hungry mages to an up-close brawler. Early in the game, I found dodging to be necessary. As the game progressed, different builds allowed for an alternative method of negating or soaking damage. In the end, I found combat to be rather dull and repetitive. Each enemy has just 2 or 3 attack patterns. Bosses are generally harder-hitting versions of the basic enemies. As such, combat boils down to kiting enemies around and getting in the odd hit until they die. Vampyr's mystery adventure mechanics work well. Players are incentivized to learn and care about London's citizens. Each citizen has a base amount of experience, but learning their secrets and doling out medicine to ensure they are healthy increases the potential amount of experience that can be culled from killing them later. Vampyr is billed as a challenging game that constantly forces players to decide whether killing a story NPC for the blood is worth the power boost. Frankly, I didn't find the game hard enough that I ever felt the urge to feed for a quick boost of experience. Once a player learns the basic enemy attack patterns, it's quite easy to tackle enemies several levels above the player. Vampyr's controls are decent. The controller and mouse and keyboard are on par in my testing. The menus are laid out well for the most part, though I would prefer some better information in the menus on where story characters can generally be found. While the vampiric census has a long range, it's hard to memorize the location of the 15 or so characters that inhabit each district. Combat controls are solid for the most part, though I find the camera can get stuck sometimes at bad angles unless the player is using the lock-on feature. The PC port of Vampyr is decent, but it could use some improvements. The game comes loaded with plenty of visual options to adjust, but is locked at 62 FPS. Some tinkering with the config files can unlock the frame rate, but it would have been better to have that option in-game. I also found some areas had severe frame rate drop in my testing. I ran at or near the 62 FPS cap most of the time, but some areas could easily trigger a 25 to 30 FPS drop. Vampyr is an excellent looking game. While I'm not sure if Dr. Reid's modern fate is era accurate, the developers generally do an excellent job of bringing 1918 London to life. The game's dark gritty look interspersed with crimson blood perfectly fits with its vampire theme. Vampyr also delivers a solid audio experience. The sound effects are good, although some of the animal sounds feel a little canned. The music is dark and subtle, which makes for a perfect accompaniment to Dr. Reid's late-night wanderings. While all of London's accents sound the same to my Canadian ears, the voice acting in general is excellent. The quality stays high even though every character's lines are fully voice acted. Vampyr is a solid adventure game with a decent action RPG attached to it. The audiovisual experience is extremely polished. The story is enjoyable, and I found myself growing attached to my in-game neighbors. Combat is a bit dull and feels too easy once the general pattern of dodges, stuns, and heals are established. If you can look past the combat, though, Vampyr is absolutely worth a try. I'm awarding Vampyr 8 capsules out of 10. If you want to read this review, be sure to check out the link in the description or in the video's card. I hope to see you soon. This is Jamie from Capsule Computers signing off. Hey YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to Capsule Computers for more awesome videos. If you're looking for more videos to watch, check out our review of Omen Sight here on the right. And if you're looking for another narrative-heavy RPG, why don't you check out our review of Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire here on the left.